Welcome back to the show. Today, by the way, I have my Constitution of Kenya, signed to me, BENJI NDOLO, by the then Chief Justice, Willie Mutunga. I analyze Uhuru's tenure in the context of this Constitution, not just my own personal feelings, but when you talk about how well did the president understand and respect the Constitution, how did he work with his constitutional affairs advisors, people like Honorable Abdikadir Mohammed, etc. What does the evidence show as far as how the president ruled? And also, you got to juxtapose Uhuru's tenure against his predecessor, Mwai Kibaki, who continues to be, up to now, the best president Kenya ever had. So that's how we look at it. It's an objective analysis, not a personal attack on anybody. I hope you can appreciate that, because I know a lot of guys will be so angry, but then a whole lot of others will also be happy to hear the truth. The problem with politics is all the foggy, murky stuff that gets in there. Today the topic is the fourth president, Uhuru Kenyatta, and in this segment we talk about the why. We talked about the how. We analyzed his tenure in the context of this constitution. Now we look at the why, because I had to think and find one reason, a single reason, why Uhuru failed. With the debt, by the way, going up eightfold, from 1.8 trillion, we're now owing 9 trillion and increasing the debt ceiling. How did we get into this fiscal mess? The why, and I have the answer. Keep watching. Welcome back. So here's the why. By the way, I'll give a disclaimer. It's nothing against Uhuru Kenyatta. He's my alma mater as far as we went to the same high school, St. Mary's. I've met him severally. He's a charming guy. That goes without saying. But those are not the issues. That's not why fuel is at 167 shillings a litre. That's why Kenyans can't afford paraffin. That's not why there's despair. People are going and starving in cults and leaving Kenya in the millions in droves. So let's not dwell on, idiosyncrasies and meaningless stuff. Uhuru is cool. I mean, that's nice, that's fine, but that's not. We have to talk issues and see where are we failing. So I've given you the how. You failed through orchestrating, and superintending over the largest, the greatest, longest, vast heist, unnecessary heist of Kenyan resources in Kenya's history. I mean, Moi did a lot of the kleptocracy as well, but Moi was a standard 8 leaver, somebody who never went to high school, someone who never saw a university, the son of a goat herder. Moi, in a sense, didn't know better. Uhuru is someone who's been to the best universities in the world with the best exposure. This was unnecessary to destroy a country in this way. The dollar today is at, I think, 141. Some years back, it was 76. It's so painful. It's so unnecessary. If you read a book called Dispatches from a Fragile Continent, Africa, by Blaine Harden, they do a whole analysis of Zambia, Mozambique, Nigeria, etc., because a lot of Africa is a mess. And in the story of Kenya, the author explains how Kenya has such wonderful fundamentals. I was up this morning to do TV and out of my house before 6 o'clock in the morning. You find Kenyans in a rush working hard. And what are they working hard for? To get taxed left, right, and center. All manner of levies and taxes. And the taxes that you pay then are also stolen, are being weighted uko by Kina Kibicho and what have you. It's really, really, it's such a unnecessary, kind of situation. Kenya could be steps ahead. So the why of this is basically that, in my humble assessment, President Uhuru, first of all, he practices, the cynical, aspect of politics in some of the ways that Raila does as well. Just using politics as this game, to entertain folk, to rally folk, wield it against your political enemy, prove a point. It's almost power, in his case, for treasure's sake, amass wealth. And for Raila, it's also almost power for for power's sake. So it's not, I'm going to run for president and I'll become president and I'll change Kenya in this way. So then, with that ideology lacking, that's why Uhuru was comfortable being in KANU for a long time as KANU chairman. Then he was advised, you know what, if you come out and form a party, so he bought TNA, etc. It's just all a game. But this leads to the why. You see, Uhuru took the office as a toy. You can tell by his manner of dress, his manner of speech. If there's someone who did not give two damns, it's Uhuru Kenyatta. He just didn't care. He could care less. And I knew that when time came, they talked about BBI and Uhuru's trying to extend his tenure. He's not going to try to extend his tenure. It's a hard job. It requires so much. He had already been, remember the budget era where 9 billion was lost when he was minister? And Mars Group, Jane Gashoka and these guys are the guys who found it on audit. Then he said, it was an error.
By encouraging our members of parliament to avoid using information derived from institutions of doubtful professional capability.
But even after it emerged that the errors were actually real, Uhuru attributed them typing error.
Maybe figures that may not be 100% correct as a result, like I'm saying, of computer input.
I mean, this level of looting, of theft, someone like that, the office is just a toy. He just took the office as a toy. Mimi wachaneni na mimi. If you want to talk to someone, talk to Matiang'i. That's why he appointed Matiang'i as, head of whatever it was, that he can be able to chair cabinet. It was just conventional wisdom. Prezi is hangovered, Mondays is off day and whatnot. It's something that is regrettable and really sad, and something important to understand, because you cannot understand where you're going unless you understand where you're coming from. If you look at something like Kazim Taani, if you talk about job creation, you can't talk about Kazim Taani as job creation. Taking youth to sweep the streets for 700 shillings, which are even being paid in arrears, not on time. And also you set the budget and then people within your office are looting. And here I'm even quoting the former president himself. My own office, HAPA OP, has got the worst characters in the world when it comes to looting. That was his statement in 2014. But unfortunately, he did absolutely nothing about it. Look at BBI and the colossal waste of public funds. Running a big project, billions of shillings, to appease Raila, and running it without a budget. Zero accountability. People just take money, you're hiring planes, hiring cars, you go around hurling insults and abuse all over the country, Kina Junet and what have you, in the name of BBI. BBI was supposed to be building bridges to unite Kenya, but you're building bridges by, by annihilating or targeting or dividing out your own deputy. So it's BBI, but against Ruto at the time. This is like the legacy of Uhuru. A legacy of just wanton looting and madness. Remember the list he brought to Parliament one time and read all those names and relinquished them from cabinet and from different positions, etc. And then nobody was ever accused and convicted. The time of Munataka nifanye nini. I've given budget to DPP. When I tell him, he tells me AG. AG says the cases have come from DCI with loopholes. They are not, we can't secure convictions. DCI says they're looking to public prosecutor. Public prosecutor is waiting for a draft by AG. AG is waiting for evidence from Auditor General. So he's like, Jamini, do you want Uhuru to take people to Uhuru Park and shoot them in the head?
Now, do you expect me, what do you want, to go and set up a firing squad at Uhuru Park so that people can be happy?
It was a really sad day, and I don't even like to remember it, to just see that level of confusion, deception. And lastly, the last thing he did then is because the head of opposition, his fake elder brother, because he has such a huge following, so what we'll do, rather than run government well where they ask questions, again, tuchukua ye, tunakunja ye. So now Raila became his PA as president. So they run around, You know, up to today, you just don't understand what they're doing. They're running around, you know, doing rallies, you know, promising him, yeah, I'll support you, utakuwa rais. Now Raila has missed it for it's the 25th year now, going to the 30th, into 2027. No wonder the youth are so disillusioned. And this is how. So Uhuru could have been the best president? Not even close. He failed flat. Hope we can take lessons from that. God bless Kenya.